Here we are. Welcome to Yoga Intermissions. Today is Easy Does It. Easy Does It Yoga Intermission, 50 minutes together. You, me, you, me, you, me. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in Vermont. It is a beautiful day here. I hope it is where you are, or a beautiful evening, depending on when you are practicing. If someone could give me a thumbs up that you can see and hear me, that would be fantastic. Today, as I mentioned, is Easy Does It. We're going to ease into some heat, then we're going to exploit that heat, maybe build it, just pump it up a little bit more, and then we'll take it down. So about 5 to 10 minutes building in or easing in, about 20 minutes using, and about 20 minutes to 25 minutes, bringing it down a couple of notches. Thank you for the yep. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with a comfortable seat. If it's better for your posture and your back and your hips to be against a wall or in a chair, allow that to happen. I'm on a little prop so that I can let my pelvis drop forward a little bit, downward a little bit in the at the bottom of the pelvis. And we're going to place the hands either on the lap or on the thighs. Tuck the chin a little bit and start to feel this length being created from the top of the sternum, from the top of the pelvis all the way to the sternum. Could be also from the top of the sternum into the throat. The pelvis tilts forward just a little bit. Maybe the eyes are closed or at half mast, but you're gazing somewhere without a lot of intensity, maybe even just kind of fuzzing the focus a little bit. Notice the breath without changing it. And if you're feeling over caffeinated or over sugared or maybe anxious, you could slow the breath down, especially focusing on the exhale. And if you're feeling a little logy, a little tired, a little sleepy, a little down, you might speed the breath up a little bit, mainly focusing on the inhale. On a big, huge breath in, shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Press the shoulder blades behind you. Open your mouth, drop everything. Let's take that again. Really audible, sigh it away. Return to a natural breath just for a moment. And we'll start our slow, steady build of heat using Ujjayi breath. So here, it's a little constriction at the back of the throat that makes the breath sound a bit like an ocean wave washing on a shore. Not so tight that you can't breathe or you cough. Mouth is open inside, so the tongue is released from the top of the mouth. On the next breath in, spread your arms nice and wide. Leave them there, but reach them outward as you breathe out. On an inhale, arms rise up in a V. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let the right hand come to the heart and the left hand comes to the back of the right. Notice the beating of your heart. Feel the breath moving in and out of the body. In our world of busy, even within the pandemic, we always seem to be finding something to do. Something to keep us busy, something to keep our kids busy, something to make us feel like we are productive or valuable. These moments in your practice are moments of being, of experiencing. While the body is moving and while thoughts may be flowing, the breath is moving. It's an opportunity to be in the present moment, to really experience each posture to be in it for whatever it is in that moment. So let's take a few moments here to consider that we are human beings, not human doings. Establish now an intention or a dedication for the practice today. Let's celebrate that. We'll keep the hands on the heart as we chant Om, which could be an out loud chant or maybe a breath chant. Breathe in as fully as you can. Om. Squeeze the arms up into a V. Exhale for a twist over to the right. The right hand comes behind you, the left hand on your right thigh. Breathe in, get tall, gather the belly in, press the left front hip or the front part of the left hip behind you. Exhale for your twist. Inhale, lift the left arm. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little together, sort of a twisty back bend, lifting the heart, maybe a gaze up toward the hand. As you come front and center, both arms lift in a V. Exhale, twist to the left, or just the opposite way of whatever you did last time. Breathe in, get tall. Really press the front bone of the right hip backward. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach the right arm high. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart. Maybe take a peek up at the right palm. Arms float back in a V. Exhale, hands to your heart. Make your way into a tabletop. I'm going to switch microphones so that I can be more audible when I'm farther back on my mat. So I will meet you in tabletop momentarily. Okay, so you should still be able to hear me. I can see that it's coming through. Tabletop. How do you find energy and heat in tabletop? It's all about the core. So thumbs are not too far away from the index fingers, but the index fingers are wide. Press the tops of the feet into the earth. Draw the belly in, tuck the tailbone, make some real estate between your shoulder blades. Guide the right leg long behind you, keep the top of the foot on the mat. Activate the glutes and the hamstrings. Really press into the top of the mat. And then slowly, keeping the toes pointed, float the leg away from the mat. See if you can shift the leg out to the right without shifting the left hip out too far. You're keeping the leg lifted, and you might flex the foot. Reach the right leg behind you, point the toes. Use the belly to draw the knee into the nose. Inhale, extend the leg away from you. Draw the knee toward the right elbow, maybe toward the right tricep. Scoop, scoop, scoop the belly in, press the floor away. Inhale, extend the leg. One more time, knee to nose. Pause, press the floor away, scoop the belly in, lift that knee. Inhale, extend the leg. And let's open up our hips, floating the right leg over the left calf, drawing the top of the right foot outside your mat and guiding the front of the right hip toward the left heel. You can come to your forearms, but you're not dropping all the way down. Nose points toward the earth. Press into the forearms and the palms to make space between the shoulder blades. Maybe tuck your right toes under and shift the right heel farther away from you, opening up that left hip a little bit more. Come back up into your three-legged tabletop. Draw your knee to your nose. Use the belly. Inhale, extend the leg. Then bring the knee back to the mat. A little shift of the right hip and the right shoulder toward one another. So you're making the letter C over to the right, and then the letter C to the left. Belly's working still, just slightly active, and there's space between the shoulder blades. Take this a few more times, left and right. And we'll come to a neutral spine once again. Gliding the left foot long behind the top of the foot and toes pressed to the earth. Glutes and hamstrings activate a lot. Really feel them. Use them and the belly to float the leg off the mat. Toes are pointed. Keep the belly super strong. Reach the left leg over to the left. You might flex the foot. Swing the leg back behind you, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Knee above the left elbow. Breathe in, extend. Sweep the left leg above the right calf. Drop the top of the left foot to the earth. Glide the left bony hip toward the right heel. I have to shift a little bit. I ran out of space. Forearms come to the earth. We press it away. Imagine that you could draw the top of the mat toward your hips with your forearms and your hands. Left toes tuck under, float the knee. Reach the left heel farther away from you. Draw back up, three-legged tabletop, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Knee returns to the mat. For a few breaths, child's pose. Knees can come nice and wide. Sitting bones toward the heels, as far away from you as you can get them. And walk the hands forward. We draw back into a tabletop, but the hands are forward about 3 or 4 inches, toes tuck under. Shift the knees off the mat a little bit, send the sitting bones toward the heels, a little hover to downward facing dog. Tabletop is always an option if down dog doesn't work for you, so go ahead and take that if you need to. Pedal into your feet if you're in down dog. Chest energy moves toward the thighs. Sitting bones move toward the upper back corner of your space. Lift to the tiptoes, bend the knees, look past your hands, take a walk to them for a forward fold. We're continue to build and work in the heat, halfway lift, breath out. Forward fold. Rise to standing. Hands by your sides, mountain pose, then they lift wide and high. Breathe out, forward fold. Easing into the heat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise to standing. Mountain pose as an interstitial. Arms sweep high. Hands to your heart. And fold again over the legs. This time sit into chair, drawing the sitting bones down. Float the hands behind you. It's almost as if you're going to take off, running forward, but instead, arms come out in front, lock back into your shoulders, a modified chair pose, Utkatasana. Belly energy, thigh energy, help you build heat. Imagine the thigh bones are spinning inward toward each other. Energy into your heels. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to your hips. Step the left foot as far back on the mat as you can get it, and then pivot on your front heel to come toward the long edge of your mat. We're going to try something a little new here. At least new to me, might not be that new to you. My feet are a little far apart, so I'm going to bring them more underneath the shoulders. Here we're going to take this kind of a little TikTok movement. So you might watch if that is helpful to start. Just going to float the arms up in a V. I'm going to shift over onto the right foot, coming to the left toes. Then float the left leg up to the left. You're using the glutes and the hamstrings and the belly. Shift onto the left foot, come to the right toes. Float the right foot off the mat, using the glutes and the hammies and the belly. Come back to the right foot. Float the left off the mat. And left down, right up. You might press the hands together. Take that to the other side. Flex the foot this time as it comes up, and then flex the right foot as it comes up. Starting to work the adductors, the abductors, feeling the TI band, feeling the glutes. And one more round, left foot up. Foot comes down, right foot up. Foot comes down, hands to your hips. Point the right toes toward the front of your mat. And then bend your front knee, step the left foot farther away from the right. We're moving into a warrior two. I know, a little different from usual. Not as much of your typical vinyasa flow today. Are easing in, are maintaining and maybe building, and are easing out. We're in the middle part. Arms float out in a T. Lift the right heel, sink down into it. Pause. Really press into the outer edge of the back heel. Shake, shake, shake. You should start feeling that thigh shake a little bit at some point. Or maybe not. Maybe you have so much stamina that there is no shaking. That back thigh is as if it's spinning in toward the center. The front knee is moving out to the right. Drop your right heel. Flip your front palm. Reverse. Warrior two. And reverse. We're going to dance our warrior, finding our way into a side angle. Sweep the right arm in front of you. Let the forearm land on the right thigh. Sweep the left arm over the bicep. As soon as the heart opens, come back to warrior two. Find a smooth and graceful a movement as benefits you. Side angle. Reverse. Side angle. Reverse. This time we'll move into extended side angle. So the hand comes inside the right foot, maybe to a prop. And the left arm floats up. My left arm doesn't float straight up, so I'm going to bring the heel of the hand to the low back. Don't forget about that back leg. Drop both hands inside the right foot. Walk the hands toward the long edge of the mat and then pivot that right foot again so the toes are in, heels are out. Finger tops to a mat, to the floor or a prop. Inhale, draw the belly in, a halfway lift. Press the sitting bones way behind you. Stretch those hammies. Exhale, draw the belly in and up and fold. Let the head drop. It's like a boulder. Hands draw to the hips, rise halfway up. Inhale, rise all the way up. We move the feet a little closer together. We're going to take our tick-tock one more time. Arms raised in a V, makes me think of a Pearl Jam song. And shift onto the right foot, left foot lifts up. Flex the foot, activate the glutes and the hamstrings and the belly, and talk the left foot down, tick the right foot up. Flex the foot, talk the right foot down, tick the left foot up. Talk, tick. I don't know why I started with talk instead of tick. And one more time. Talk, tick, left foot down, right foot up. And back down, hands to the hips. Pivot on the left heel so the toes point the back toward the back of the mat and step the right foot more toward the front of your mat. Finding our way back into warrior two, a hip opener. So we check that we're not taking a back bend. Arms out in a T, gaze over the left middle finger. Left heel lifts off the earth. Sink into that knee and drop the foot down. Lift the left heel once again. We're going to stay here for a moment. Sink into the front knee. Press into the outer edge of that right foot. Really work that back leg, the glutes and the hamstrings. And don't forget about the arm. Left heel down. Flip your front palm. Left palm. Reverse the warrior. Side angle. Dance this warrior. Long back leg. Lift back up, warrior 2 to reverse. Side angle. Warrior 2, reverse. Side angle. Warrior 2, reverse. Side angle. Warrior 2, reverse. This time extended side angle. Left hand down inside the left foot. Right arm can float high, or if your shoulders are cranky like mine, right hand, heel of the right hand to the low back, heart opening up. Both hands inside the left foot so they can walk to the long edge of the mat. Toes come in, heels come out once again. Lift halfway up. Exhale, Prasarita Padottanasana, your wide-legged forward fold. Imagine you're pressing the ground away with the feet so the hips are lifting from the earth. Place the left hand underneath your nose. Float the right arm high, finding a twist, an opening of the heart. The spine is long. Press into the heels. Press into the outer edges of the feet. Drop the right hand to the earth. Take your twist to the other side. Again, modifying if you need to. My left shoulder isn't fully functioning, so I bring the heel of the hand to the low back to twist. Hands drop. Hands draw to the hips. Lift halfway up. Find a long, long spine. Shoulders toward the hips. Press the sitting bones behind you. And using the belly, the hips, the thighs, the glutes, float back up to standing. We're going to come forward to the front of the mat. If you're being, maybe you weren't as graceful as you might have been at another time. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to shift energy into the right foot to lift the left knee in toward the heart, and then come into a crescent warrior, stepping the left foot behind us as far as we can get it, and adjusting. You can keep the hands at the heart. We're going to do a little work in and out of this crescent shape. I'm going to drop the back knee part way down. Pause and extend the leg. See if you can stay low. Drop the left knee down a little bit more. Pause. See if you can stay low, extend the leg. Drop the left knee a little bit more, coming as close to the earth as you can without touching. And then drop the knee to the earth. Toes untuck, arms sweep wide, left arm forward, right arm behind. Maybe a little scooching forward of the right foot so that you're using that whole bottom of the foot to press the energy of the earth away from you and open up the front of the left hip. We'll reverse this, dropping the right hand behind the left thigh and lifting the left arm high. If you don't feel anything along the left quad or the hip flexor, the very front of the left hip, that hip crease, scoot the right foot forward, sink more into it, and then press energy into its heel and the top of the back foot. Left hand down, right arm high. Right hand down, back toes tuck. Lift the left knee off the earth. You're in a runner's lunge. Hover over your thigh, hands by your sides, palms face down. Power up the back leg, power up the glutes. Step into chair pose, Utkatasana. Sweep the hands behind you, heart forward, hands above your hips. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We'll take all those shenanigans right to the other side, taking the opportunity to really be in this moment. So rather than thinking about the doing of these postures, experience them. Where do you feel the energy? Where do you feel the power? Where do you feel openness? Where do you feel tightness? Shifting onto the left foot to float the right knee up. We sweep the right leg behind, coming into a crescent with the hands at the heart. My right knee is feeling a little crunchier than my left knee, so we'll see how this goes. That's my experience in this moment of this posture. Drop the back knee. Pause, see if you can stay low, extend the leg. Glutes activated will help a lot. Drop the right knee. Lengthen the leg. Drop the right knee as close to the mat as you can get it. Pause, then drop it all the way. Untuck the toes. Reach the right arm forward and the left arm behind, finding our twist. Maybe a scoot forward of the left foot. Where do you feel this? Where do you not feel this? Where do you feel powered up? Where do you feel a little weak, if anywhere? Left hand down behind the right thigh, right arm floats high. Finding an opening in the right quad, the right hip flexor. Right hand down, left arm high, your twist. My left hand stays at the low part of my back. Left hand down, back toes tuck under, runner's lunge. Hover over your thigh, hands by your sides. Chair pose. Hands sweep above the hips, heart reaches forward. Arms sweep high. Staying in chair pose. Left knee comes in toward the heart. See if you can sink a little lower into the right knee. Left foot comes down. Right knee floats into the heart. See if you can sink a little deeper into the left knee. Foot comes down. Hands sweep behind you above your hips. Stay in your chair, arms sweep up. Left knee lifts. See if you can rise up using the right glutes. And then come back to chair. Right knee lifts. Powering up those left glutes in the thigh. Rise back up. Chair pose. Lift both feet off the floor. Just kidding. Rise up to standing. Swan dive, forward fold. Beautiful. Yay. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Step back for a high plank. Drop your knees. Come to sitting on your heels. We're going to start working our slow down, our ease out of the heat. I had my heat actually on really high as well to kind of really work it. We're going to take the right hand behind the right toes. We're going to shift as much as we can, the pelvis forward, and float the left arm high. You might find placing a block behind you or a pillow can be helpful. So you can then lift the sitting bones off the heels. Get really long from the top of the pelvis all the way to the sternum, and then lift the heart as if actually there is someone lifting it with a string. Pressing into the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe the head floats backward. Drop the sitting bones to the heels, stack the shoulders over the hips, drop the left hand to the right thigh, take a twist, kind of like we did at the beginning of class. I'm going to swing our way through center. Shift your prop if you used one. Comes behind the left foot. Left hand, left fingertips come to the prop. We shift the hips forward so the sitting bones hopefully come off the heels. Lengthen from pelvis to sternum. Lift the heart. Lift the right arm. Maybe the head drops. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the floor away. Sitting bones to the heels, right hand outside the left thigh, shoulders over the hips, a twist. Return front and center. We're going to take a similar move, but more rock star. Coming to all fours. Kickstand the right leg to the right. So the right knee stays right under the hip, but the foot comes toward the edge of the mat. Take the left leg and extend it out to the side. Kind of like we did at the beginning of class, but this time we're actually using the foot to help us out. So you're pressing into the outer edge of the foot. Hands walk back. Hands come to hips, the shoulders stack over the hips. Find your balance, tilting the pelvis forward, drawing the heart upward, arms raised in a V. There's our Pearl Jam song again. The left hand comes to the left thigh. Right arm reaches super high. Keep the heart lifted as you take a tilt over to the left. The left fingers might slide down toward the calf or the ankle. We lift the heart, opening from the right knee all the way up to the armpit, and then all the way up to the the right pinky finger. On an exhale, sweep that right arm in front, right fingertips outside the right knee. The left arm sweeps around in front. We keep the hips pressing forward once again, and the left arm lifts up. Bring your lips up in a smile. Press the bony hips forward. Gaze might lift. Press more energy into the outer edge of that left foot. Use the belly of the left arm to rise back up, arms in a T. Palms draw together in front of you. And like a little crossbow, but not one that injures anyone, heels of the hands draw to the heart, elbows reach outward. Fingers point up. And then if you can, without using your hands, come back into your kneeling posture. Sit down on your heels, curl your belly in, direct round your shoulders, drop your head, nose comes toward your hands. Return to tabletop. Kickstand the left leg, so the left knee stays under the hip, left foot comes more toward the outer edge of the mat. Right leg reaches to the right, as far as you can get it so that the whole foot is on the earth. Hands walk back toward your hips. Rise up, shoulders stack over hips, arms float high. Press lots of energy into the outer edge of the right foot and tilt the pelvis forward. Right hand drops. An exhale brings you over to the right. Left arm swings down in front of you. Fingertips meet the earth right outside your left knee. Right arm sweeps forward toward the left shoulder and then upward, either straight to the sky or the bicep over the ear. Keep pointing the hips forward. I just stuck my booty behind me, not the intent of the posture. Belly helps lift you. Arms pressed together in front. We bend the elbows so the forearms are glued together. Bring the knee back to the earth. And staying upright, so the sitting bones away from the heels. We curve the belly backward and inward, round the spine. Drop the head and the elbows. Inhale, upright, arms in a V. Make a fist with the thumbs sticking out, a little power posture, breathing it nice and tall. Exhale. Exhale, sit back on your heels, hands to your heart. Bring your knees together. Big toes touch, palms can come to your thighs. We're going to find Lion's Roar, which is essentially a breath work opportunity where we will breathe in, and when we breathe out, the tongue comes out of, with effort, comes out of the mouth, and the eyes open wide. So we take a long, full breath in. And you haven't done 3, take a third. Now we'll work our way back into a tabletop and take the right knee behind the right wrist. Maybe using your hands if needed, the right foot comes toward the left wrist. We feel this out. Where are we feeling it? Is the shin connected to the earth? Is the top of the foot connected to the earth? We tuck the left toes under and sneak that left leg nice and long outside the, right out of the left hip. So we're starting to bring the right sitting bones toward the earth, exploring and feeling until either the hips kind of unsquare or the right sitting bone lands on the mat. My hips are starting to unsquare. So I'm bringing a block. So you grab a prop, could be a bunched up t-shirt underneath your right hip. Now find our way into a back bend here. So we untuck the left toes, widen them, and then walk the hands backward. Oh, you could give yourself a little foot massage here. Open up the heart. If you have a lot of flexibility here and you'd like to work on a king pigeon or on a quad stretch, you could bend that left knee, reach around. If you have king pigeon, it hooks into your hand. You take a bind behind your head. You might stay upright here or find your way all the way into your pigeon. Oops, no, I meant to keep my prop there. Hello. I was not in the moment, as you can tell. I'm working on that. Finding the full experience of this posture might mean placing a prop under your forehead. Or your forehead could come to stacked hands. We settle in. This is a really important lesson, this posture. I spent probably 5 or 7 years hating this posture and finding any excuse to rise out of it. My hip was fatigued. It was too warm. Didn't feel I could perfect it. Well, the beauty of this posture is in the not trying, the not efforting. Just the being, the allowing, the permission to relax into it. Letting the shoulders soften, that might mean widening the elbows. Feeling the connection of the third eye, the center of your forehead, with the earth or your hands or your prop. Almost as if whatever it's resting on, whatever is supporting it, is your intention, your dedication. And maybe counting the breath. Or maybe even simplifying with just being here. And acknowledging each time the mind turns to something other than relaxing into the posture.
And without chastising yourself or reprimanding yourself or analyzing that, just kind of acknowledging it, shaking hands with it, saying hello, and then letting it go. Doesn't have to hang around. Our hands come back under the shoulders, and any proppage you have used, you remove. Return to tabletop. You might need to shift things around in what feels like an awkward manner. Draw the knees together and find puppy dog, sending the sitting bones toward the heels. We keep the arms off the mat, but we press them long and drop the head. Breathe into the sacrum. Return to tabletop. This time the left knee comes behind the left wrist and the left foot comes behind the right wrist. Maybe using help from your hands. Right toes tuck under to scoot that right knee but away from you, right out of the right hip until it can't scoot anymore. Proppage if you need it. Again, you could just use a bunched up hoodie or a blanket or a pillow. And we find a back bend. And we might notice, as I do, that being in this posture on this side is a little less comfortable than on the first side. Or maybe you find it's more comfortable. Quad stretch or king pigeon if you have it. And the hands walk forward, folding over your front shin. Using a prop under your head or your hands under your head if need be. A little rounding of the shoulders, tiny little activation of the belly, and otherwise a non-effort. Giving ourselves permission to find the power of this posture, which is in simply being in this shape. Hands return to their places under your shoulders. Lift the shoulders up. Scoot any props away. Find yourself in a seat. Soles of the feet on the earth, knees pointing toward the sky. Give yourself a nice hug. Taking our final approach to the ease out. Breathe into the lower back. With your head super heavy and the collarbones kind of turning in on each other so that the shoulders are rounded. Slowly make your way all the way down to your back. And shift the hips over to the right. You'll have to lift them off the earth a little bit. To drop the knees to the left, keeping the shoulder blades on the earth. That right arm might flop out to the right and the gaze follows it. And if you like, the left hand could come to the right ribs. So that as we breathe and twist, feeling the energy of the top hip, the right hip move toward the front of the mat, you might notice a little opening, a little space being created between the ribs, among the ribs. And maybe it feels better to flop that left arm out to the left. So both shoulder blades are melting like marshmallows into the earth. A shift of the spine fully back to the earth. A movement of the hips over to the left this time, so the knees drop over to the right. Again, perhaps starting with the left arm flopped out and the right hand on the left ribs. We take a huge inhale. Make space, keep space, breathe out, and flop the right hand down. A shift and return of the spine back to the mat, and any adjustments you need to make so the spine is as straight top to bottom as it would normally be. Move into your final posture before our resting posture, which could be knees drawn in toward the chest or the armpits, a happy baby, or legs up the wall. I'm taking knees in toward the armpits, and some rocking left and right or knee circles always feels good here. Find your way into your resting posture, your final resting posture, Shavasana. If you need to keep your knees bent, it's ideal to place something underneath them so your feet don't have to be supported by the earth. But if that's not possible, no biggie. In the traditional position, the legs are extended, your space between the feet flop out left and right, shoulder blades kissing the earth, arms downward in a V, but space between them and the side bodies, and the palms facing up. Big, huge breath in from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. Let it go. Eyelids gently caress the eyes. The air without effort from you moves around your body. The breath comes naturally. You are here. You are now. You experience this without trying.
You turn your awareness to your breath and encourage it to deepen. And in so doing, bring some wiggles back into the fingers and toes. And let that build momentum until you can roll onto one side all scrunched up in a little ball. Revisit here your intention or your dedication. And just notice for a moment what it is like to be here and now. Whatever sensations you feel. Touch, sight, taste, smell, sound. And press yourself back to a comfortable seat. We'll close our practice as we began using Om to share the merits of the practice out with all those in need, whether that is folks nearby, folks we love, folks in India who are suffering so badly from a second wave of COVID, which, by the way, if you are interested, rather than donating for this class, you could donate at sutrastudio.com to Sai Sanctuary to support the efforts for medicine and food for India. Palms pressed together at your heart. Take a big breath in. Thumb knuckles connect right in the center of your forehead. May you take the time in each day to simply be, to experience the power of the senses without any effort in a given moment. Namaste. Thank you all for sharing your practices. It was great to be with you, and I hope maybe you come back to this video or another. This is the last live class for a week, so next week I will not be doing live stream, but there are, of course, probably nearly 60 recordings now for you to tap into, and if one doesn't float your boat, you can just go to another. There's a lot to work with there. I will see you in 2 Saturdays from now, and very much looking forward to it after I come off a little bit of refresh and relaxation away from the trappings of my life right now. I hope everyone's doing great. I will see you soon. Take care.